everyone. Welcome to Loud and Proud Orlando. Thank you so much for being live with us tonight. We appreciate you logging in and tuning in. If you're listening to our podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, thank you so much as well. Make sure you leave a review for us. We kindly appreciate it. My name is Luis Carlos Pineda. I'm here with John. We're going to be discussing today a draw against Columbus Crew, in which the Lions were clawing for every inch against relentless Columbus, and they settled for a greedy 1-1 draw that it felt more like a stolen breath than a victory. Marco Pasalic clinical strike in the 34th minute had the whole crowd roaring. Pedro Galese stood tall, five great saves, denying what it seems like an endless barrage at the end. Orlando carved out 10 shots, 4 on target in a match that flowed like the St. John's River. Numerous chances, but so elusive in conversion. So Orlando does, but that lack of ruthless accuracy in front of the goal is what truly made the biggest difference. Pocahontas coming into the playoffs for sure. We'll discuss all of that and more. I'm here with John. John, how are you, my friend?
Good, man. Good to be back. Good to see you. I was there at the game on Saturday. I went to the top of the wall. I did a little reel on Instagram. So if you haven't checked that out on Facebook, go watch my point of view from the top of the wall on this game. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? We didn't get the goal we needed. We left the door open for them to win it with a 1-1. We needed multiple goals in this game. I feel like we need multiple goals every game because our defense is not keeping clean sheets, and we just didn't take our chances and get this one. I'm not too concerned. I've said it on the pod many times before. Like, it's about, for me, peaking at the right time of the playoffs. So we're difficult to beat right now, but we're not necessarily going out and killing teams. If we can find that killer edge at the right time in these last few games, maybe we can really do something this year. Or we're not going to find it, and then it's just going to be an early exit in the playoffs. So do or die time, Luis. But we're in the playoffs. That's what really matters. I think top 4 is probably out the window based on not winning that game. I think that really did just kill our chances of getting top 4 completely. But we're going to get somewhere between 6th to 9th based on these last 2 games. So it's still in our hands to come into, a decent spot in the East. It's very tight. Or we can fall further down and have to do a play-in game, right? So how they perform in these next 2 games depends whether they're going to have to go play another game. But yeah, playoffs, let's see. But we gotta figure out how to just score multiple goals a game and be that killer threat again. And if we could do that, maybe we can do something this year.
100%. We're going to be discussing today, obviously, the draw against Columbus. We'll dive into our opinions regarding this match, as well as the MLS East playoff race. Congratulations to Philadelphia for winning the Supporter Shield. No one had Philadelphia winning this. Everybody, all the pundits said that Philadelphia was going to suck this year, and look at that. International duties, Orlando City and people that were called up for the national team. Also, Vancouver at home, and also score predictions. So stay tuned. Drop us a thumbs up. If you're on X, make sure you're retweeting the video. If you're on YouTube, make sure you're commenting. We'll read all your comments. So thank you for your support. But anyways, let's start with the analysis against this Columbus Crew draw. Obviously, it was a game that it was going to be tough because this is a team that we've always had difficulty beating. But 2 things that truly, the first thing that really hit us hard was the Joran Gervais injury. So just 2 minutes into the game, he uh, the ref Victor Rivas saw him going down, and he knew it was bad. They called a stretcher in, and Gervais didn't want the stretcher. He just was carried out of the pitch. Oscar Pareja, he was from my understanding, he went straight to Orlando Health, so he went straight to the hospital. So that means that he doesn't know what the level of injury may be.
I mean, he's SEI for sure.
Yeah,
Like we know that, right? Like it's even a question is like, is it going to impact his next season? Being this late and how big an injury it is. That's the real question, I think.
yeah. So and Kyle Smith came in, and the accountant obviously handled the books in the middle of the field. So
You see that one
uh,
little moment where who was it? He cooked with the little leg. He pulled the ball back right in front of him, went around him. That was nice.
yeah, yeah, that was awesome. I mean, his energy is just contagious all around. So we're just lucky to have him. Kyle Smith, I think he's going to be renewed after the past few performances he's had, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. What did
And
Oscar say about midfielders? He said like he's never had such a problem with consistent midfielders, right? In the
right,
press
he
conference.
said that Kyle is one of the most consistent players in his team.
No, but about this season, the lack of consistency in our midfield because we've had so many injuries and changes and like we have like think about how often we've had different midfield too compared to like other years where it's been Cesar and Wilder like 90% of the time. This year it's constantly been like guys getting injured, Cesar not being there, Wilder of course not being there. So I think we've had a lot of that.
100%. I mean, we've lost a lot of the defensive mode on the midfield, able to win those battles. It seemed a point at times that Nagby was winning a lot of the duels
Mm,
against Atuesta, and
yeah.
you know,
It sucks
uh,
about Gervais, man. That was such a you know shitty way to start the
well,
game.
it I mean, it is. I mean, he was
Such a
already
bummer.
hurt. I mean, he was already hurt,
Yeah, I
and
know. Like we've been waiting for him to come back, and then he just
right.
instantly.
So he wanted to come back in this game, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, I think he something on his knee snapped for sure, 100%. But good news is, depending how far, and again, that's what I've been told. Wilder may be ready. We don't know yet. They don't want to rush him, but he's really eager to come back. He's already practicing with the team, so he's still in SCI. But as any SCI, he can be pulled out. But we'll see. But those are promising news. But again, I think that definitely hurt us pretty bad in the beginning of the match. It says Landon says we would have won if we had Ramiro Enrique. I think that's. I mean, with all the respect, I think that is a quick assessment. I mean, I really don't know if
I,
we would have
I hear
won.
a lot about like Ramiro. We're missing Ramiro. Everyone. I think a lot of people are frustrated that we sold Ramiro.
I
I
just don't
get it. Like
understand.
I'm not against that. I also think though that like selling Ramiro doesn't mean Ojeda suddenly stops scoring goals, right? Like we've kind of dried up a little bit all around. Like Muriel's not scoring at all. Duncan's coming back from injury and not really scoring. Yeah, I mean, like yes, Ramiro was one of the players, but he wasn't always scoring as well. Like he didn't have that many goal contributions on the season. So I think that is yes, we're missing goals, but I don't think it's like, oh, we're missing Ramiro, therefore we're not getting any goals. Like we're just not scoring 2 or 3 goals a game at the moment, but that can change. I mean, last game we created a lot of chances, Luis. This game, Columbus created a lot more chances than us. They had more total shots. So in some ways, like a draw was probably a fair result. I don't know if we necessarily did enough to win this game. Could you say that we arguably deserve to win this game?
No, we did. No, we did. We should have
You feel like
won.
we did?
Yes. I mean, we
I
we
but
had
like
we
are
had
like
we had the
clear out over Columbus? I don't think we were that much
yeah.
better than Columbus. Columbus had a lot of chances
Well,
too.
well,
Pedro made some
if
incredible last second saves, you
right,
know.
but if Orlando would have scored the ones they had, we would have been telling another story.
I think that's the thing. We're not clinical enough, but neither
Right.
were Columbus, right? It wasn't like we just ran over them. They weren't
No, no,
clinical
no. We
either.
we didn't run over them, but it. I
Yeah.
mean, soccer is an emotional game.
Yeah.
So if you're the one who hits first, now you have to chase the game away,
Yeah.
and
That was
and and
great
th-
that we came back so quickly.
and that yeah, and that was gonna make it difficult. And after we came back, Muriel had a chance that I just don't know what's wrong with our attacking third. No one shoots the freaking ball,
Yeah.
and it's really upsetting because they're all capable players. There was on social media some Colombian dude went there to do some, you know, hoo-hee ha cheeky shots, giving some of the social media something to do, and they're shooting, doing nothing, doing lob shots. They're hitting shots to the post, to the corner. They're doing free kicks. They're doing corner kick shots, and I'm talking about like, why the hell aren't they doing this in the game? Like Muriel missed one v one with the keeper. He should have just shot the ball right
Yeah.
away. And then Duncan did exactly the same thing. It was so frustrating for
Yeah.
Oscar. He took Muriel out. He's like, hell no. This is come on, bro. How can you do this? And so he brings Duncan, and Duncan does exactly the same thing. Everyone is an extra pass, passing it back. And then when you ask the players, you get a response, with all due respect to Marco Pasalic, but you get a response saying, "Oh, I will get worried if we didn't have any chances. If we miss a couple of shots, it's okay. It's part of the game. But what I'm talking about is there's 2 games left in the freaking regular
Yeah.
season, my
Yeah.
dude. You know what I mean? Don't
I
give don't give the
I did
fans
go. I did raise my
that
eyebrows at that
baloney.
one. Yeah, I did go. Oh, yeah,
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah,
I asked him a question. I was like, what can we do
yeah,
better to be a more clinical team? What was I mean, they asked a lot of questions about what they were practicing before the game. I know, Austin David asked all these questions. Michael Citra asked all these questions about the preparation to this game, but I didn't hear what happened on those. Why so many missed chances? So I mean, those are the chances that if you don't score them during the playoffs, they could bite you in the ass, man, because teams are going to get better and better.
yeah. I mean, it's. So I'm saying we're just not, clinical enough. I think with Paslich on, well, he was probably, he comes from that European club mentality where they
Right.
probably, when press asks you questions, you have certain answers you can give, kind of thing. I felt a little bit like that to me. I agree. Maybe he's not concerned. Maybe they're not concerned because they are creating chances. But I think the issue is we need to be the team were earlier in the season when we went on a really good run that was scoring 3 goals a game. If we can score 3 goals a game, we can win most games, right? So
I agree with
so
you.
we just need to do
And we
that. And
could
in the
have.
last 2 games, we could have scored 3 goals. So that's encouraging. I think probably that's where Marco's kind of coming from, right? But we
Yeah,
actually need to
so
put the ball in the
Orlando's.
back of the net. And I think, Kenneth Allen here talking about Ramiro, especially against Columbus. Ramiro he did do that. So I think there is that kind of sentiment of like, where's the guy just to come on and finish it, right? But so should Muriel, so should Ojeda, all of them, right? Like Spicer, Angulo, I don't care. Like they all should have that killer instinct in them if we're gonna go anywhere this season.
Well, I just feel like a lot of egging for the fans, with all due respect, they get excited for just one player that gets in.
Yeah,
All I'm trying to say is this: Spicer is a substitute, and he's gonna be a substitute probably till the end of the season. If you watch this team several years now, you'll know kind of how Oscar is bringing in new players into the
Yeah.
squad. Ojeda was a sub too.
Yeah.
So when Pato was in, Ojeda was a sub. So what I'm trying to say is Spicer's a phenomenal player. I just think he's more of like that assist
Yeah.
machine, and he's gonna take those
And,
shots
and
eventually.
like,
Don't don't e- don't expect so high because you're gonna burn the guy. I mean, let the guy cook. I feel like if we put too much hope on one player and he just
yeah.
arrived, I feel like we're also kind of mentally burning him because he's gonna believe that he has some sort of duty to do. And to me, I feel like people are jumping into conclusions too fast into some of the newcomers for the team. I don't know. What do you think
I
about that?
agree. I think also, I know people don't like to hear it, but Angulo does a lot defensively, and our left
Yeah,
side is, and we'll talk about Marin in a minute, but our left side, even with Brecalo there, is not really the strongest part of our defense. It hasn't been all season. That's where most teams attack us and get results against us, is from their right side down our left side. So you kind of have to have Angulo there who does that, because Spicer like really doesn't do anything. I know he's coming on a lot of the time in a like, I'm going to go and attack mindset, but I just don't see him as the kind of player that's tracking back and covering. And if you then, like this game for example, if we'd started Spicer and you had Marin and Spicer on that left side,
we would have lost.
you can't. I mean, Angulo kind of helped a bit, but like if you didn't even have that and you had Marin, getting cooked by, I can't remember who the Herrera, who scored the goal, was on that right side, and then
Yeah,
there was another guy who was, I think it was Rossi, was over there helping him out, like
it was
the other guy who plays in the
what's
front
his name?
three,
Batista. He had Steven Moreira.
Herrera.
Steven
So
Moreira.
like, imagine Spicer not helping at all, Marin
Yeah.
getting 2v1 in overlap. So yes, I understand the play Spicer, and I also think that he's just not like, he's a very good winger in moments and in bursts, but like he comes on and he takes on the man that he hasn't played all game, and he gets around him or he doesn't get around him. If he tried to do that for 90 minutes, if he doesn't get around him the first few times and the guy gets his number, and then he's, like he's not like the most incredible guy where he's going to always get past his play, here's man. So like, I think he's more impactful against tired legs, kind of like Duncan is in some ways. We talked about that. I know, like, I
Yeah.
didn't hate seeing Muriel start. Muriel does good things. He just doesn't put the ball in the back of the net, and that's what you really want your striker to
Um,
do.
Vega, anything new on Sakata? No, he's still
I don't,
sidelined.
I don't think he'll be
Kenneth
back
Allen,
this
Duncan not,
season.
yeah, Duncan not stepping up when he needs to. That's right. You're
Yeah,
completely right. I don't know if he's not stepping up. He's just doing too much. Oh, he was scoring a lot of goals when he would keep it
yeah,
simple and not like overdo himself. I mean, for crying out loud, Orlando was down one goal, and you had Ojeda doing back heel
yeah,
passes. You had Muriel doing back heel
yeah.
passes, doing fancy lobs, and honestly, to me, that's not. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, and this is my opinion. I wouldn't be doing that if I'm down one goal.
That's the kind of
Like,
honesty that really frustrates me. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
that
the ticky
like
taka
people are really
nonsense when
hate.
we need a goal. It's like, just,
Exactly.
yeah,
I understand that we have the players in the attacking third to do that. We have, Gerbe, we have
yeah,
Atuesta, we have Muriel, we have Pasalic, we have even Angulo that they can definitely do that. We have Ojeda, but you got to know when to do it. Like if you're winning 3-1 and it's minute 75 and you're up 3 goals to 1, fuck yeah, do
yeah.
it. Sorry. Just do it. But if you're going to do it when you're losing, it's just, to me, it's just you wait. You're turning over the ball, and that's what happened with Columbus, with Atuesta, with even Ojeda turning over the
Mm.
ball in this
I feel
game.
like they
Just
think they
people,
have to be really clever to beat Columbus, because they think Columbus are like really good with the ball and like, play high pressing and pass it around. So they think they need to like be overly complicated with the ball and play all these nice sequences of passes, and like, which I get, but then like they do it in a times when it's like, okay, but you've got like a 3v2, and it's like, we don't need to do that. Like, you've got the overlap, you've
yeah,
got the men, just attack, be direct, or Another time is when you just want Pasalic to shoot, and he like drifts the whole way across the field and looks for that slip in ball. And I'm like, dude, just shoot from there. Or like Angulo or somebody just run direct. Too often I feel like we're running right into the wing, and then it's like, well, you could have just ran directly at goal there. Like, why do you need to go wide with it and then look for the cross? Like, just to run directly at the man. And I feel there was a lot of that in the second half. And yeah, it's just, it is what it is. You know, at the moment we're not a team that can be beaten easily, but we're also not a team that can beat you very often at the moment.
People are really hitting on Marin online. LOL. Stream Jesus, Adrian Marin. His words on Rafa. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Sobate. I don't know if that's in
I
Spanish or
put a
English.
little
Yeah.
meme out on Marin, you know, just being like, just let it be better than the last time. And it
Yeah.
it
It
was
was.
better, but there was still that error that led to that. And like, it's,
Oh, well, of
I mean, it's
course.
like, dude, how long did you play in Spain and Portugal, and you're not even checking behind you to see if
Well,
the guy's coming in? Like, he got right in front of him and stole the ball away. If you're more aware, you muscle him out, you get the ball before him. You just shouldn't be letting that happen. It's just poor awareness, poor marking. I just think there's been a lot of that since he got here. A lot of this, like, he looks like he's half asleep to me, honestly. I feel like he needs to wake up, bro. Like, hello, this
yeah,
is the
I have,
playoffs. Wake up.
I, I have info on
I
that,
saw
and
the
with that, but yeah, before going to that, 60 goals in 2025 regular season for Orlando City, new single season club record, and the club wanted me to say this, because
no, it's great.
because you
It's a
know
great achievement. But
they're trying to,
that's what I'm saying. Like, we can score a lot of goals. We just need to do it now.
and then it says Marco Pasalic scored his 12th goal of the regular season and the 15th across all competitions. Definitely an A signing,
For
a
sure.
10 out of 10 signing for sure. To come to the MLS brand new and score 12
Yeah.
goals, that's
Imagine if
fantastic.
Muriel had been like a 20 goal season striker this year. We're
It would have
like
been Gucci
we're
banana.
still 2 out of 3 on the DPs, aren't we? Like, earlier in the year, it was
Yeah,
like maybe we've got 3 great DPs.
I
We're still 2 out of
agree.
3,
And
and we got 60 goals. Imagine with 3 out of 3. So
yeah,
Ojeda
head
are a
coach.
shining light for sure.
So Oscar Pareja made three changes to the last lineup. Obviously, the introduction of Joran Gerbe, who got injured, Adrian Marin, and we talked about this on the preview for anybody that watched the preview. I said Oscar is going to be forced now with this situation with Schlegel. Uh, he has to put Marin. I mean, he has no other choice because also he may be down if Gervais is not ready in time. And like I kind of for kind of in a way foreshadow this, Kyle's going to have to do midfield work. So more than likely, it's going to be Brekalo as a center back in his natural position, which he actually didn't do really. He did really well.
Yeah,
I do want to say it's been the season for
yeah.
Brekalo as well, and again a signing that we had to patiently wait for. I remember a lot of people last season saying, "Oh, he keeps getting injured. Oh, he might not be here next year." Here you go, and so Adrian Marin and Luis Muriel were added into the lineup. Now let's talk about Adrian Marin. So obviously everybody is hating on Adrian Marin, and obviously it's definitely their thinking, but you also have to do a little introspection here, and you have to understand what Orlando City signs through history. And since the Pareja years, the whole motto on how Orlando City has signed players is low cost, high reward with a lot of upside. Somebody that Oscar can bring into the system, build them up, nurture him for a season or have a season, and then boom, is going to explode the next one. Happened with Ojeda when he first came from Godoy, happened to Ramiro, it happened to Duncan as well, happened to Ivan Angulo. So these are players, if you think of some of the signings that I'm talking about, Brekalo came from Serbia from a really bad injury. So a lot of low minutes. Same with Ivan Angulo, 200 minutes and loaned everywhere in Brazil. You have also Luis Muriel, out of shape, out of contract in Italy, with a lot of upside. You have also Marco Pasalic, which probably was the guy who had the most minutes in Croatia and actually is our best signing so far. And then players that have taken a little bit of time to adapt to the league that now are killing it, like Martin Ojeda, for example. He's a perfect example. I remember in one of the pods back 2 years ago, John is like, "Hey, I think we should maybe loan Ojeda, or and now look at
No,
Ojeda
I just
now."
said like he had to
No,
step up or else we're gonna get rid of him, you know?
right,
Yeah.
right.
But I
So,
mean,
but
this
he
year he
did.
did. Yeah.
So it took a. I mean, he after Facu left, he took that role, and he is one of the best players in the league by
Yeah.
far. So what I'm trying to say is, I think let's see what he can do with a full preseason with the team. Yes, he's terrible. He's looked terrible, and he even mentioned it in the press conference. He said, when I asked him a question about the physicality and the difference between, he said, "I am a player that's coming to a team that's fast, 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 press, 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 and I haven't even have a full 90 minutes when I come from." Like so he's getting back into that rhythm, and obviously he's still adapting. But again, for us, it's not helpful because Orlando is against the ropes essentially. Against the ropes, and I mean, I feel bad for. I mean, in a way, I mean, if you think about it in a objective way, the boys put him in this situation, because if Orlando would have won the games that they should have been winning and scoring the goals that they should have been scoring, Orlando would have been higher up in the table, and then we would have had the chance to take the luxury into waiting on Adrian Marin, right? But right now, not only the fans are impatient for Marin, but also the team needs Marin to be adapted right away. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on Marin, bro? I know that you have a lot to say about.
Look, I understand that. Like, I'm not against players having time to adapt. I'm
Yeah,
fine
but
with that. I think the issue is left back has been a problem all year, and it's not really his fault per se, but he was brought in to be a solid replacement, and we got rid of Rafa Santos because he was bad, and things are just bad at left back, So I think
yeah,
we're tired of watching left back struggle. So if he could be awesome next year, and because I do think there is a player there, I can see that. I just think, yeah, he's done that kind of classic thing when you come from Europe and you've just been a bit shocked. But also, if he's out of fitness, fine, I get that too, right? He needs match fitness, he needs match sharpness. So maybe it'll get better over time. I think the issue as well is we put him in crucial games, and it just hasn't worked out really. And he's been very
exactly.
obviously in an issue like at times. You know what just happened this weekend, Luis, is a great example of this. Steven Nzonzi, right? Throwback. Steven Nzonzi is
Oh
back
yeah.
playing for Stoke City. Legend. So he's gone full circle.
Oh
Played for Stoke City in the Prem years
wow.
ago. Won a World Cup. Went to Saudi
Uh
Arabia.
huh.
He's come back. We put him on the field. 37-year-old Steven Nzonzi. This last weekend, he made a horrible error. Like, he just basically gave the ball away in the box. He just made a bad clearance, and then everyone's like on Steven Nzonzi's back, and it's like, yo, this guy's like been a legend in the club. You bring it back, and the fans are like attacking him for one mistake. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you get it. You got to give a guy a minute. Like, he's a really good player. So the same thing's going on with Marin, right? It can be this case of like, just give him a little bit of time. But yeah, the more games go on, and the more errors we see, it's not trending the right direction. So I let's
He,
hope that he's not needed a lot the rest of the year, and not in like a mean way, but like, you know what I mean? Like, let's just have Brekalo And if we don't
Yeah, I
really
have
need
a
to play
feeling.
him, let's not, because it's probably not helping all this pressure of having to start in such high. Like, that's the other issue, right? If this was a European club he joined, or a club that was on a regular, the same season that he was on, he'd be in preseason or early season now, instead of,
Yeah, it'll be a
he's
different
joining such
story.
a high intensity part of the year. So that's difficult too.
Now, I did some research on this guy, and obviously he's had. I mean, again, this has to, and again, I don't want to. This has to do with the type of signings Orlando City has, and it's our market, you know. Number one, you don't have a lot of time to decide who's coming, but you have to hope that whoever you're signing is going to have an immediate impact. And Orlando, I think, for the price, for how they're managing their budget for 2026, which I have a feeling they're going to open up the wallet this season. They're going to do more like a Cincinnati type of stuff. I'm hoping, because I'm thinking that's why they sign a player like Marin, because of on the cheap. That's what you get. You get a player that, yeah, he's going to have a lot of upside, but right now Orlando is on a bind because we need him and he's not producing, right? So, it's unfortunate for him. Hopefully he does great, but like I said, here, um you put a list
Yeah, can
here,
you
right?
put us to get to the side? I just wanted to bring this up. Actually, wait. Do you have any more thoughts on the game before I kind of change subjects? I just want to
No,
say
no, no.
Pedro had a great game. That save he made with his foot, incredible.
Yeah, I mean, he had
That's
over,
the
I
other
think,
thing I want to
five key
say. He just
saves.
had a great game, really. But I
Yeah.
think we kind of said everything else. This is the MLSPA. So this is the free agency list that came out. And I kind of posted this, and there was a lot of great, interesting people commenting on X, with their thoughts on, and so for us, Cesar is one that is not under contract. We know that. So basically he is going, I think, because he's stated that he wants to leave by not signing a contract. So if there's one that we're like, he's definitely not going to be here next year, I would put my hat on Cesar. Eddie Atuesta is pending an option. So if the club, I think it's a club option. So if we want to extend him and he also mutually agrees, it could be a mutual option, then yes, he would stay. Same thing with Ivan Angulo, potentially. Kyle Smith, it would not be under contract, so there is technically no pending option for him. We would have to give him a new contract if we want him to stay. Same thing with Pedro Galese. So again, he would not be under contract. There is no option to extend the current contract he's on. We'd have to give him a new contract. And then Jansen has a pending option. Again, is it a mutual? I'd have to look it up, but I think it probably is a club mutual option if we wanted to extend him as well. So that is, in some ways, I feel like generation defining. You know what I mean? These guys here have been the last 4 or 5 years in so many ways. Like if you look at Galese, Jansen, Cesar, Wilder's not there, but what's going to happen with him. There's so many key players to what Orlando City is at the moment that could leave. And it was kind of what you were saying before, Luis. I think that just opens up a larger question here as what are we going to look like next year? And is this going to be the same? Like, I know there's a lot of questions people have around Oscar, and there's people want to know, is he going to be here? But that's one part of it. The other part is like, is the team even going to look the same? Potentially, we could have a massive change and really clean house.
So I have the club's sheet, so we can take a look real
Yeah.
quick here. So, from my understanding, Ojeda has contract with option on 2026.
Yeah.
So,
He's not an issue.
based on for my understanding, and again, take it with a grain of salt, but based on some information, Ojeda is definitely going to get a pay
Yeah.
increase,
He should be the
and
highest
more
paid
than
player in this club
likely,
next season. Yeah,
right,
he will be.
he's gonna be
Yeah.
head honcho, possible new
They're going to take some of
captain
that
of
Muriel money and give it
2026.
to Ojeda. That's
Yeah,
exactly what they're going to
so
do.
possibly he's gonna be head honcho, number 10 captain of Orlando City next year. I'm saying it
Yeah.
right now, and I know I'm probably gonna get in
F
trouble,
is
but
asking about
uh,
whether that was an option year as well. So you can see Ojeda has option year through 27. That's why he's not
and
included in that list I just showed you
yeah,
of free agents at the end of this year because he is
right.
technically
hmm
through 27.
So at the end of the year, you have Cesar Araujo, Eduardo
Yeah.
Atuesta, Ivan Angulo,
Yeah.
Kyle Smith, Pedro Galese, and Robin
Yeah.
Jensen. Right. If you know, and I'm gonna talk about Cesar. I agree with you. I think Cesar, since last season, he wanted to depart from
Yeah.
Orlando City, and he's just having his contract pretty much expire until
Yeah.
he has to
He,
go home.
he's he's mentally checked
And
out already.
yeah, and so it is what it is. Players
Yeah.
come and go, we thank him. I think he's been a tremendous player, and I'm sure he's going to kill it wherever he goes. More than likely, Uruguay,
One of
if
the
he wants to be.
better center mids we've ever had in MLS era, really.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to Willer Cartagena, it's going to be a situation in which the club has been great
Yeah.
with him, gracious with him through his injury, has paid him in full every week, every month. And so they're going to try to renegotiate.
Yeah.
And if the money
Yeah.
makes sense for Orlando City, they're going to re-sign them for maybe a year or two. But
Wilder
at
on a
the
cheap deal for 2 years, I'll take that
correct,
because I feel like he's
correct.
hungry to come back.
Because they're gonna try to get. I mean, if Cesar leaves, you're gonna get you. Orlando's gonna be pressed on finding a MLS ready defensive mid
Yeah.
right away.
Yeah.
So and then you have Ivan
Yeah.
Angulo. Ivan Angulo, he has right here. He has an option for 2026. So more than likely, Ivan Angulo
I
will
think they
stay.
will. As much as people
Yeah.
might not want to
So
hear that, I think they will because
Ivan
he's
Angulo
on
will
a
stay. Now
not
the thing
crazy money
is,
and he's
this next season he's gonna have
yeah.
competition because how far Utaro is gonna be,
And Spicer
and if and
and
Spicer
Nico another year.
with a
Nico,
full,
he could play that position.
yep, exactly, with a full
Yeah.
preseason, right? Then you have Kyle Smith. So Kyle Smith, I feel again, this is a player that's
I
I wouldn't say an
I would
icon.
give him another year on whatever cheap money.
Yeah,
He can't, I think Kyle Smith's probably on like 250 or something.
yeah. He's John. He's the John Joe Shelby of Orlando
Yeah,
City. You
like
know what I'm
dude, I
talking
mean,
about.
I don't
You know what I mean? He's the John Joe
I also
Shelby of
like the fact
Orlando
that he's an
City.
American player, man. I think we need more American players on this team. And I
I
have
agree.
other years I've been like, let's move on from Kyle Smith. I'm now in the mindset of like Kyle Smith can stay because as long as
We
they give
appreciate Kyle Smith.
youth opportunities, I'm fine with having one or two, veterans that could contribute,
Me
right?
too.
Like I don't want too many, but Kyle Smith
Yeah.
could definitely be one of those guys. I
Oh,
also think, like you were talking about with Wilder, Luis, I would love to see that potentially happen with Pedro. Is say to Pedro, we would like to keep you, but we need to pay you like half or a third of what we do now, and see if you'll happily take that and be a rotation option keeper. But I don't think we can give him a new big first team contract because he's on like 900, like he's one of the most expensive keepers in the league, and I don't know if he's justifying that salary anymore.
With bonuses, he gets $1.2 million.
That's like
now
he needs to be producing like almost Golden Glove level, like top of the league level numbers for that wage. You see,
then I'm gonna say this.
Then he would go.
In Peru, they've tried to light a fire up Orlando City's ass, and I'm gonna say it in completely full French. His entourage, his agent, have been calling all these several Peruvian uh, podcasters, not me though, but other
What?
ones,
Why aren't they calling
saying
you?
saying Alianza Lima wants Galese, this other team in
The
Peru
old,
wants
yeah,
Galese. Now they fail to understand that he gets paid
yeah,
1.2
yeah.
million, right? And so, also, from my understanding is, for what I know from
Yeah.
sources, Galese doesn't want to leave the
Yeah.
United States. Galese is comfortable here. His kids are in
Yeah.
school. They love Central Florida. He wants to stay in Orlando. That's his
Yeah.
priority. But Orlando is waiting till playoffs.
Yeah.
Technically, I mean, and they've done
Look,
this before. They did it last year.
I just don't think we can give him another contract at the amount he is now. Like we
Now,
could give him a new contract, but it has to be less, or it has to be with the
then
understanding that
then
we're gonna bring someone else in and compete for, or like is one
well,
of our
it's
other
just
keepers
it's
like
just
Otero or Mercado really gonna get a shot? Like,
with all the respect, I don't think they're at the level
well, then
yet.
that's the case.
Now
Then I would
now
move on from Pedro.
then be ready to see him in an Inter Miami jersey or
I
an
don't
LA
disagree
Galaxy
with that.
jersey.
I think you're right. I think, look, if he wants to get his 1.2 mil and we're ready to move on and he wants to stay in MLS, then he'll leave Orlando, right? Like he would like to stay where he is, but he wants his
And
money. So if
again,
another MLS team
this
is going
is
to pay
this is
him
the
to do
dilemma.
that, the amount that we are now, then I say thank you and you can go.
Right, but then again, this is the dilemma that Orlando has always had through
Mm,
history in all their sports they've
yeah.
done. Dwight Howard, you didn't want to pay him 100K more. You lose him to LA, he wins a championship
I don't
eventually.
disagree on that,
Shaq,
but
you didn't want to pay 50K more. You lose him,
the
he
issue
wins a
I have
three-peat.
is, Luis, is that we are in MLS, like we just can't add more to the budget, right? So I just think that if you look at
Right.
how much other keepers are getting paid in this league and how much we need to, if they're going to rework the budget, I would like to pay our goalkeeper a little bit less. And I think we could get a
No.
goalkeeper that maybe would be just as good or even better and pay them less money. I think Pedro has been here a
Mm.
long time and he is very good, but there are issues, and I think that how much we pay him for, I don't know if he's producing that amount.
So yeah, I mean, look, I think it's all
Yeah,
negotiable. I don't know. I think right now, if they will ask Pedro, hey, we're gonna pay you the same as you did
yeah,
last year, and you want to stay, there's two
yeah,
ways to see this. It's either they're gonna offer him a, because he's
yeah.
35,
But I would say the
so
same thing
either
about
they're gonna.
Jansen too, right?
I would say, look, if I was Orlando City, I would say, hey, man, you love it here, okay.
Yeah,
We're gonna put all eggs in your basket, bro. Like, and 4-year contract, no option, no option,
for who?
or 2-year, 3-year contract and an option. But I mean, you are gonna retire a
Yeah,
lion. You're gonna so there's no
yeah.
like, and so in a way, again, we're talking about building a culture and a
Mm. I
legacy and what's
I
coming
would
up
love Pedro to
next.
come and
You
stay
know,
and like and move
that's
like
where the negotiating power is going to have to
I
come
would
from the
like him
club.
to have that competition with somebody who would then, like, at some point he goes, okay, I'm happy to be number two and support that person and pass. Like, I don't want him to leave, but I also don't want to just have him as our only really good goalkeeper and, just be relying on a guy that hasn't been as good recently and he's a lot of money. And I think the same way
Also,
about Jansen, right? I feel the same. It's the same thing for
yeah.
me with Jansen. It's like, look at his age, look at how much he's on, look at the mistakes that we've seen this year. I just think at some point with these guys that are of that age, you got to say, when are we going to take that money and put it into a new, younger player? And it's just the way the football is, right? So I think that
Yeah, I just think that 35 is still young for a
for a
goalkeeper.
goalkeeper,
I
yeah,
mean,
I
if you
can
think
see that
about it, but
that
for
part.
for a center back, it's a
But it's
little
also for
different.
me, Luis, is
But
like I know that Ricardo's talked about it before, and he went on the podcast that Yuri Rossell does. By the way, Yuri Rossell has a podcast, and I remember on there he said like he's never really done a big change of the squad. Like he's never really done like since he's got a
Yeah.
big turnover. And so if you're gonna do that, it's guys like Jansen, it's guys like Pedro, it's guys like Wilder, it's guys like even Angulo, maybe in that, definitely Muriel. Those are the guys that, okay, let's take some of that money that we've been paying the core of our defense and midfield for so long, and then move it into other players, get some new players in. If they're not gonna move on from Oscar this season, I think they will do that in the offseason. That's my prediction.
Yeah, like I have a feeling that when it comes to Galese, um, it's gonna be a matter of talking with him and his entourage.
Yeah.
I think he wants to stay.
Yeah.
That's all
But
I know.
if he's
but
not going to take less
also,
money, then that's a rock and a hard place,
well, we'll see.
Let's see. If they're happy just to roll him on the same amount of
this
money,
could be.
then he will stay.
I have a feeling. That it's probably going to be. I mean, I think it's going to be the same amount of money he's getting paid now. And now, from my understanding, you also have to see it this way. Orlando City, it's when it comes to the goalkeeper situation, right? So right now, you have a great keeper like Otero, you have a great keeper like Mercado, right? And yeah, you can maybe feel comfortable, letting maybe Pedro go, but again, it's at the expense of, and I advise the fandom to understand, that you may see him with a different MLS jersey if that happens. And again, you have to have the soccer IQ of understanding that he may even win a championship before Orlando. He may not retire as a Lion.
Yeah.
And so if I just think that if Orlando is trying to, and I have a feeling that after this season a lot of changes are going to come, maybe keeping the core of the team, the Ojedas, maybe the Angulos, the Galeses, and then building up and opening up the wallet. Because if you think about it, I mean, we have a squad full of players that have something to prove, but we really haven't gotten a proven MLS ready player aside of a Tuesta or maybe Pasalic.
Yeah.
Every other player has needed time to adapt. Even Schlegel when he first arrived, Dagger Dan, and not talking about the kids that come from OCB, but I mean, it's time. I feel
if
we're gonna, and I have a feeling also Muriel may be a shift.
I don't think you can open up the wallet and go spend transfer budget though if you don't have the wage budget. Like we have to. That's why I'm saying, like, look at how many TAM players we have there that are on, like, those guys. So if you renew all of those players, there's no room. You don't have the space. Like I think we need to really move on from at least 4 or 5 expensive roster players to be able. And number one for me is Muriel. Like if we ride him out for another year, that is the biggest disappointment, because I don't think he's being paid $4 million a year and the numbers are just not there. And if they're going to give Ojeda a contract, a lot of that money is going to come from there.
Yeah, that one has been a bust. I think we can say.
Yeah, I mean the DPs, sure. They only count so much, obviously, towards your overall amount, but like just in terms of the club itself and how much it's paying out and how much the ownership looks at how much they're paying a month, it's a lot. It's almost double what Ojeda's on. So it needs to make sense in terms of who's actually bringing the
Yeah, and again, you have players like Fabian Loyola. He's not going to be there. I don't think he's going to be here next year. It's just You
We
know,
won't have time
Alex
today,
Freeman
but I
made.
definitely want to talk some OCB at some point because there's guys
Yeah,
there that are like, are we ever gonna, is Thomas Williams ever gonna play a first team game again? If not, like let's move on
right.
because we need that. The reason we have issues in center back and left back is because we don't, I think, have enough good young defenders coming through. Only Alex Freeman has been a really strong young defender who's come through the academy.
Alianza Lima is a downgrade. I agree. I think the Peruvian league is it's terrible, and also he's going from an atmosphere like the MLS in which even uh, the press is a little bit more pro player in a way, and to protect the player is number one for all the clubs. To a free for all like doxing fest in Peru. They you miss a goal or you let a goal slip through your hands, and then they dox your family. They look where you live. Like people are vicious like that now. And so, do you think Galese wants that? No, and he knows that. I mean, he knows that especially now, because Peru has not gone to the World Cup. They are really like all the players that went to
Yeah.
Russia to the World Cup in Russia are being hunted. Essentially, they're talking. The whole press is all against them
Mm.
now, and so he doesn't want that because he sees his friends from the national team, saying, "Hey, man, don't come here, bro. This is terrible. I made the biggest mistake going from Argentina to back to Peru." So I really don't think, but it's what Peruvian media is saying, so I do have to report it. F, were y'all surprised about Orlando's updated GAM negative 600,000? Thought maybe we would have more of that Ramiro money
It
banked.
it doesn't come through yet. It basically
Yeah,
won't be reported until the winter one of this comes out.
the winter,
So it's
yeah.
just basically like this we're looking at here is from what got reported in like May. So like they could have negotiated contracts and just not announced it yet. Like they could have already extended
Yeah,
guys with some of that TAM
I,
money they got from Ramiro, and we just don't know.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
possibility that Ojeda may be
Yeah,
ready
they might have
signed.
already signed up Wilder to a new deal. They just don't want to announce it yet. Like,
Yeah,
they pick and choose when they want to say things. Like,
or even Galese
honestly,
just taking us
sometimes players
for a
just
bunch of
wait for their
fools.
contracts announcement because they're just like, let's put it out this time when we need to win. Like, we need some positive news. Announce this now, But it's been in the works forever, so that kind of stuff happens.
I guarantee you, John, if Orlando does look, and this happens on all clubs. Watch, guys, if you're watching or listening, if Orlando gets eliminated in the first round of playoffs, and it's a heartbreak for the whole entire Central Florida, and we have an early Christmas, guys, be ready because the information won't stop. The first thing right after we get eliminated is going to say, Martino had a 3 years, baby. We're coming back in 2026. Galese Pulpo stays.
Yeah,
They're going to announce all of the stuff they've been working on
yeah,
backstage. They're going to be announcing because they just effed up.
it,
And the
yeah.
fans are going to be like,
And so
you,
much of it depends on what happens this year, right? I
yeah,
mean, I think
I
the
agree with
other
you,
side
John.
is the Oscar part that
Yeah.
I say that this 1,000 times is I always think about that press conference where he said to himself, when he thinks he can't do anymore, he will leave. So I'm gonna go to that again when they have the Pareja perspective. If they do, if it happens, we don't know. If it happens again, and I'll say, okay, Oscar, where's the point where you feel like you can't take this team any further? That's why I say I think they're going to overhaul the squad because I think that Ricardo and Luis and Oscar have a really good relationship, and I think Ricardo thinks Oscar thinks of him highly in the league. So
100%.
I believe Ricardo is ready to sit down with Oscar in the offseason and say, let's make major changes to help you have another go next year with a different squad. If they don't make major changes and we still have Oscar here next
With the
year,
same squad,
that's where I'm with everybody else. And I
right.
think everybody will
I
be
agree.
frustrated in the case of like, what are we doing? Right? We need to do something
Now,
different. So if this season doesn't go the way we want it to go, one of those two major things I believe will happen. Either the coach will change or we'll have major roster changes.
2 under 22 slots are available
Yeah.
right here for Orlando City. Not only that, but like John was saying, Fabian Loyola may not be here. We may be witnessing the last few games by, hopefully not. I don't think Robbie Jensen, but at least, Wilder, Cesar, Ivan maybe. Ivan, if I guarantee you, if Ivan it's gone, even though he has an option for 2026, I guarantee you Ivan will be picked up by a top team too. And he's gonna be a starter.
Oh yeah, another
And
MLS team will pick
and
up Ivan
hopefully
Angulo if we don't, for sure.
100%.
And then you watch him run at
and
you.
then Luis Muriel.
Yeah.
And what John said is completely true. Luis Muriel is a huge X factor because it will send a straight message right there and then. It will be like, okay, we kept the core. So we kept the core of players and we're going to now build and we're going to get that DP9, MLS ready, and maybe 2 really good under 22 signings for maybe Europe, not South America, at this point. And we'll see how that pans out, and I think, it would have been cool to, to sign, Walker Zimmerman.
Yeah. I'd love to see. I'd love to see a lone striker for 6 months. Yeah, because that way it's like, we've seen other teams that have done this with some players. Like I think about Charlotte did it with Pep Biel. They had him on loan for 6 months and then they signed him after that. Like that's the kind of thing where it's like, let's take a lone striker DP for 6 months and see, because if it doesn't work out, then you can, in the summer window, go buy a DP, or you can bring him in full time, but whatever happens,
maybe Urgent Car comes back.
I'm not against it. Whatever happens, I don't want to see Luis Muriel being a DP for us next year. Maybe they could get Muriel to sign like a Pato deal and he can hang out. I'm down with that.
Right. I'm down with having a Pato deal.
I think $4 million a year anymore.
I think his deal was 380,000 or something like that.
And it was also like a pay.
Yeah, it was
like if he plays kind of deal.
Yeah, it's like 380,000. I mean, if Muriel is gonna go that cheap, then so be it. Let's do some comments real quick. Vega, do you guys see a possible statue being built in the future for any current player? Yeah, I mean, if we win a championship, for sure. I mean, I think this generation, there should be a U.S. Open Cup because of being our first. There has to be some sort of statue of maybe 3 or 4 players hugging. I think it'd be cool.
I think if Ojeda carries on, like if Ojeda stays here for a long time and we win MLS with him, we win the Champions League with him, then like he could be like our Nico Ladero, and then you build a statue. Like that could happen.
Same with Pedro. If Pedro decides he's going to retire in Orlando and take a 3 or 4 year contract
things with us
with a pay cut,
basically at this point, if you lead the team to the MLS Cup, you'll get a statue. Like Oscar will get his statue.
Rodri, like Oscar wins MLS Cup, statue of Rodri on his knees.
Build him. That is. Oh, Schlegel. We haven't even talked about him here. We should move on to a few other things because we are an hour in, but we got interestingly sidetracked. You want to talk playoffs or international duty first?
No, we'll talk playoffs and then we'll keep international duty at the end.
I got this great website for you. Here you go. The numbers are back. The spreadsheet is here. All right, this website, it's very small. I wish I could make it bigger. I can. All right. You can see. So Eastern Conference playoff standings. Here we are. We have a 27% chance, according to this website, of finishing 6th, a 32% chance of finishing 7th, an 16% chance of finishing 8th, and a 4% chance in finishing 0 in 9th. Essentially what this means and I can kind of show you here with the winning numbers on this page. You can see essentially if we get 2 points in our last 2 games, like we're going to come 6th. And if we get 1 point, we'll come 7th or 8th. And if we get 0 points, we'll probably come 9th. So most likely, like on this one, percentage-wise, we're probably, according to the stats of this
We're gonna go for
website,
6.
we're gonna end up in 7th, but 6th is not far off. I mean, 27% versus 32%. There's so many variables here. This obviously changes every week when they update it, and like Nashville above us, right? If they lose both their games, they'll drop. Fire if they win a game or lose a game, et cetera, et cetera. But somewhere between 6th and 9th, we know for sure. I'm gonna go with the odds and say 7th seems about right. If we avoid the play-in game, that's a result, I think, from these last 2 games, really, where we're at now. If we don't have to play the play-in game and we can rest, that's really what we should be looking for out of these last 2 games now, realistically, of the best case scenario, 6th or 7th.
So right now, if tomorrow would be the playoffs, we would be facing Cincinnati, technically. So the 2nd seed versus the 7th seed.
Yeah.
If we move to 6, so if we win our next 2 and Inter and Cincinnati keep winning, we would be facing, if we get to 6, Inter Miami, because the 3rd goes against the 6th.
Yep.
So
I mean,
I don't know. It's just we're going to be facing a top 3 team,
and it's pretty much nailed on that Cincy are going to finish 2nd and Inter are going to finish. I mean, the odds are there. The Inter will finish 3rd, 85%. You know, most likely Charlotte and 4th. I don't want to play Charlotte again, and that's the thing. Like, I don't want to play Charlotte in the 3 series again. So I'm glad that we can't finish 4th. I'm 5th, and they finish 4th. Like last year, because that would be boring. I think Cincy is a good. I think we could beat Cincy away. Like we almost did. I think over 3 legs, we could. If there's a team we could play over 3 legs, it's probably them. I don't want to play Inter Miami over 3 legs away. I just think the refs. We saw what happened when you go down to Miami. You know. I think there's too much. There's too much potential for them to favorite Messi. So I don't trust
then if
it.
that's the case, then if that's the case, then we need to stay 7th.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm saying.
So that means that we need to win 1 and draw 1.
Yeah, or maybe we come 8th or 9th, and then we're so annoyed by that we like crush that team, and they imbues us with confidence. You know, like there's so many routes this could go. Or
we can play Philly. I mean, if we're 9th, we're gonna be so if we, let's say we bomb this
right.
we
can come into that play-in game with low confidence.
So exactly, we will be doing a playoff game against right now either Chicago or Columbus. It'll be a playoff game.
Yeah. And then we'd have to play Philly. But I mean, people say don't want to play Philly. Like, I get it. But you got to have to play like, you know what I mean? Like, in some ways.
I mean, Orlando knew
Philly because I think we would get the better of them over 3.
Not only that, Orlando knew this was going to happen. I mean, this was the danger of not winning the games that they needed to win against easy competition. That really panned out on the standings for the Lions, and now the Lions are going to have to face a top 3 either way, you know. And if they bomb these next 2 games, because we're not going to have Spicer. Pedro is going to be staying. He declined to play against Peru. So the story about Pedro Galese was that he asked the Peruvian national team to please don't call him up for that stupid ass.
I was wondering why they didn't call him up.
You know
You didn't
why,
want to
John?
go?
Let me tell the real story about why Peru is playing a friendly against a team that also is not in the World Cup. Is because Peru, the federation, thought of themselves that they were going to make it to the World Cup, and they pre-booked this friendly, agreed on this friendly back in February of last year, of this year. In February of this year, they thought they were going to make it to the
Yeah.
World Cup. And so the president, idiot, um, booked a match against Russia, the Russian Federation, and against Chile. But then the Russian Federation dropped off and canceled that friendly, and it was going to be in Russia. So
Mm.
imagine that. And so they decided just to play the one in Chile. So stupid, but it's all going to be all new players for Peru. The only one being called up from the MLS is Kenji Cabrera from Vancouver, so and he's not going to be playing against Orlando.
Cool.
So Kenji Cabrera, the newcomer, he's not going to be playing
Well,
against
that's good
Orlando City.
because he's been good for them.
Yeah.
Alex Freeman, of course, called up once again.
That's
Shout
going to
out
be
to
great.
everybody who told me he is not a U.S. men's national team player.
Who
Oh,
said
dude,
that?
don't even.
Who was the idiot who
So,
said that? I'm sorry.
when he was getting called up before, and everyone was like, "Why is Pochettino getting all these calls up?" I had so many debates with people, and they were just like, "Dude, he's not gonna get as soon as this ends, and they get Joe Scally and Dest and all these other." And I was
Oh
like,
wow,
"Yeah, like those guys are okay, but like Alex could be better. Give him time."
I agree.
And I think he's working his way to being like the starting right back. Genuinely, like I know you got Robinson at left back, but I think that by the time the actual World Cup comes around, he could be arguably the number one right back. It could be.
You
It could
imagine,
be.
John, and you imagine if he aces in the World Cup and the
Yeah.
U.S. gets far,
Es-
he's not going to
Especially
be
when
here for
Poch is playing the
2026.
five back. It's like perfect for him.
Yeah,
And then we see where Arson loves that too. So
and then Arvson actually had a massive game against
yeah, so
Orlando
I'm just
too.
saying that like as much as guys were like, "Oh, these guys suck," it's like, "Oh, well, they got time," and then you see something, and then you go, "Well, maybe we can use that with some of the other players," and that's how Alex Freeman's potentially going to be a World Cup player. Um, David Brekalo, he's away with Slovenia. We got
Yeah,
Marco
Slovenia.
Pasalic, who's away with Croatia. You got Tyree Spicer, who's away with Trinidad. You've got Javier Terra and Gustavo Caraballo, both called up for the full Venezuelan national team. Vamos Vino Tinto. You love to see that, Luis. First time for the full call up for Caraballo. He's been in the youth squad,
That's
as
nice.
Otero's been called up for the youth squads as well. But Caraballo at 16 years old, like that's crazy. So you love to see that.
Good for Venezuela, man.
Just like Peru, Luis. They're just like, hey, let's give some guys a chance. Let's see what else is out there in our national pool. So it's exciting.
Yeah,
They're gonna play Friday against Argentina, and then a bit nicer of a game on Tuesday against
against
Belize. Better
Belize.
Belize it. All right. Colin Gusky and Justin Ellis, the OCB boys, have been called up for the U.S. News national team as well. The U19s, as they're going to play Northern Ireland and Belgium. So, yeah, I mean,
From
from
Belfast.
Belfast. All right, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 significant players and a backup goalkeeper.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Spicer. I mean, wingers like that's a real hit. Like you really
Who we're gonna
you've got
have? Nico
Angulo,
Rodriguez on
you've
the
got
right,
Angulo and Rodriguez.
bro.
They're your winger options. That's it. You got no. I think you might see Ojeda on the wing. Honestly, it could happen. They might
Bro,
move him out
I
there.
think I think
They could
yeah,
move him
I
out there
think
and
that's
play
probably gonna
another
be it.
midfielder. It could happen.
I will put Ojeda on the wing.
Yeah.
I will put Angulo on the
Yeah.
left, Ojeda on the right, and then Muriel as a 10.
Yeah. I mean, also you're gonna have Daggy at right back, probably. I
Yeah,
assume.
yeah.
So
Or Adrian Marin.
Adriana Marin, I don't know, but I think we'll be
I
okay
think Kyle
without
can.
Marin
No.
for this. We've got David Brekalo out, but it's probably gonna be Marin. Yeah. It's going to be, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Brett. Yeah, and what Rodri's
Yeah, so you
back,
can
so
put
you're gonna
Rodri
have,
and Jansen with Marin at left back. Yeah, I was I was
yeah,
saying there wasn't too many more games. I forgot that David Becker
and then
was
it's
out.
gonna be Atuesta, and who? Because Gervais out. Is Cesar back in?
Cesar. I
I
don't
don't
think
think so.
so. I genuinely think they're just not play.
Calling
I think
Dusky? No,
they
Colin
just
Dusky
not
being
playing
called up.
Cesar because he's not signing a new contract.
I'm not sure,
I think
man.
there's something there. I mean, they might have
Yeah,
to now because no Gervais, Daggy at right back. Colin Gusky is also out.
unless they're gonna give who's a D mid for
Dylan
OCB.
Judelson
Judelson, or it could be even
could happen.
well, no, well, no, because he's being called for the U19s, calling Dusky,
Gusky, no,
so
yeah,
he
no
won't be in.
Gusky. No, Dylan
Maybe Shaq
Judelson.
Mahat.
I mean, Shaq Muhammad will
Judelson.
definitely be on the bench and probably will get off the bench onto the field as a wing position, maybe a striker or a 10, but not deep mid, you know. So,
Now, with that being said, Thomas Mueller is coming into
yeah.
town, and again, so Ali Ahmed, I do want to say Ali Ahmed and Jaden Nelson, which are
Hmm.
strikers. Well, they're not strikers, are players for Vancouver. They're going to be with Team Canada. They have friendlies against Australia and Colombia. Also, Andres Cubas, which is one of their best players,
Yep.
is going to be with Paraguay. And Kenji Cabrera, obviously the Peruvian international, he's going to be with Peru. So it's going to have Ryan Gold essentially as their only man right there in the
Who
mid.
has come back from injury, having been out like 90% of the
Yeah.
season.
So right now they're unbeaten in 10 matches. So they just defeated 4-1 San Jose. Sebastian Berhalter is definitely going to be playing, and they clinched the Canadian Championship. They beat um, they won it 4-2, and they got CONCACAF Champions Cup qualification. And they have 8 Cascadian Cups. So I just think that Gald and Mueller are going to be their options right there in the mid for
Yeah.
Vancouver.
I mean, they're a good team this year. Canadian Cup winners, right?
Hmm.
They've run several times in a row. They've won that. Of course, Thomas Mueller is the thing that everyone's most excited about. Finally, one of the biggest stars in the league, Luis, comes to visit.
Imagine.
Messi couldn't do it, but Thomas Mueller, I'm sure he'll be
Well,
coming.
if we get 6 and Miami
Yeah.
stays there at third,
Um, I
we're gonna
mean,
be
they're
facing Miami
missing
again.
some guys. We're missing some guys. They don't really need a win as badly as us. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of
Some
they're
young
in a good
guys.
spot where they are. They can come in. They're going to finish top four, I believe, regardless. So I think maybe they're just looking at this as like a hey, let's go there, do our best, but it's not like a we've got to get a
Yeah.
result in Orlando. You know. Let's see where they are in the table, but it's difficult for us. It's not as much as we move this game. I don't really like they can't win Supporter Shield. They're on 60 points. They can win top of the West. So if they really care about coming top of the West, then they might throw everything at us this game, but they're going to finish in the top 3 or 4 even with a draw or a loss against us. San Diego, they have a game in hand on San Diego and Minnesota. So they're in the driving seat. So they can lose this one and still
100%.
come top of the West, right? So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if they're gonna want to throw everything at us and having such a long travel, whether they're gonna come, fully aggressive with their starting lineup and everything. They might rotate a little bit as well. They might try and save some guys because they know that we're got to rotate lineup. we'll have to see. But it's a big game. I mean, this is our game in hand. So if we don't win this one,
Yep. It's our last home game of the
it is,
regular
and it was
season.
the game that got moved because of the Leagues Cup,
Yep.
and now that's
We
why
we
we're
put
playing
all
it in
eggs
the
in we
international
put
window.
we put all we put all eggs in
I
that
wish they
basket
put
in
it
the
on a
Leagues Cup.
Wednesday like last week, so that it wasn't our international.
Yeah.
I'd rather play 2 games in a week and we could have had all our starters than they put it in an international window. Because,
Yeah. I mean,
no Pasalic, no Brecalo, like no Spicer. Like this is impactful.
yeah. Fun fact is that Vancouver is the only team with fewer losses this season than us, 6. Keith
Yeah.
Alexander, betting line has us favored pretty hard. Says thank you,
I
Keith.
don't know why the
Appreciate you.
betting line has
I
us
rather
favored pretty hard against 60-point Vancouver.
to Villanes. What's up, guys? Sucks we only got a point, but I think we can get at least 4 points with the last 2 games. Vamos Orlando. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I do want to say
If we get
some
4
of
points,
the
I think
stuff that
we'll
Orlando.
come 7th, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. Look, we just gotta exploit the absences that Vancouver is gonna have as
Yeah.
well. I think the press in the mid is gonna be important. The transitions between Eduardo Tuesta and Martin Ojeda, overloading Vancouver's depleted midfield. Angulo definitely is going to be influential. Galese, again, Orlando needs to take care of the set pieces, the chances they create. They've created so many. Vancouver pushes really high, so 58% of possession usually on an average. So just those breaks of Muriel and Maguire, those long balls from Galese, those are definitely going to be important, but they just gotta be clinical. You know what I mean? Once Orlando gets moving and scores 1 goal in the first 10 minutes of the game, I think we have the game under control. I think we could definitely win this. I mean, not to say the impact of Thomas Mueller is it's been great. I mean, 8 goals, 7 assists in 12 games. So 35-year-old Bayern Munich star, one of the best players ever. So 8 goals, 7 assists in 12 starts, John, for a 35-year-old. I mean, that's a 35-year-old I wanted to have in my team. Tremendous. So, are you ready for the predictions?
Yeah.
What you got for the predictions?
You go.
All right, so um bro, I don't know,
I
bro.
almost
I'm
got
gonna
my
go
2-1 right, but it was not right.
yeah. I'm gonna continue the roll. I'm gonna say 3-1 Orlando.
3-1 Orlando.
We're gonna have a Muriel brace and a Daggy goal. Dagger Dan.
I'm a roll it too. Let's go with the 2-1. 2-1.
Yeah. This is hey John, I love your live updates from the game on Instagram. Never picked up your English accent on the pod before. There
Thank
you
you,
go.
Keith. That's because I just came back from England, so I was still talking a little bit English. It just changes. It'll change like the wind. I'm
Yeah.
either American 1 minute, English the next.
My brother just moved, so he's living in Chester.
Ah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so I
Like
don't know if
Manchester.
he's
Yeah.
gonna the act. I don't know if he's gonna go and get that accent going in a few months when I visit him.
We'll see. But yeah, I will do more live blogging from the top of the wall on this game against Vancouver as well. Next time, Luis, I gotta text
Yeah,
you so you can wave from the press box because I always
that's
see
right.
you because I can look all the way
Yeah,
across and I can see and I know where you sit and I was like, ah, there's Luis. So
Yeah, they got me a closer. Yeah, they got me a closer
yeah,
seat.
if you ever want to
So
see
that
Louis
was
Box, I
nice.
think you're like what four? You're like 4 seats in from the left. That's
Yeah,
where
from the
Louis
left.
sits.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I always stand up for national
yeah,
anthem. You
yeah. I'm
know.
always waving at you, but you never
So
see me because
no, it's just I'm bro.
he's busy.
No, I don't know where you are, bro.
I
I'm
move,
terrible.
yeah, but the top of the
And not
wall
only
was
that,
great.
I lost my
Yeah,
glasses. So that's another, I don't know where the hell I put my glasses, man. And I've been having a hard time even at work. I'm gonna have to go back to the eye doctor and get glasses, man.
there's something about really big games that I feel. I don't know. I like the top of the wall because I just feel like
Yeah,
it's a
for
good
sure.
like you see everything like when the wall's
Yeah,
packed out, but like I like to. I don't know. I feel like we're gonna win. I don't know. I feel like
and you don't get
yeah, like
wet.
the nervous John likes to watch the game at the top of the wall. That's like my safe spot.
Plus, you could curse and
Yeah,
nobody
and I
finds
can
out.
record
You'd be
videos so
like,
people don't stare at me. Like, what's that guy doing? Uh, Alrighty.
man.
I also want to say I had a new Forever line come out yesterday. I interviewed Jamie Chin, an old friend of mine. He used to, in fact, run the press box. Luis remember him. He is brother of Dennis Chin. So go check out that on Forever Line if you've not. I know it's been about a month since I put up a podcast. So sorry for the long break, but life happens. Lots of things happened. But we're
That's
back.
right.
So go check out the latest episode.
No, for sure. And make sure you check us out on all social media outlets. If you just joined, make sure you rewind this episode and we'll discuss all about Columbus, what happened there. Also, the what players could potentially leave in
Yep.
Orlando after this season, right? And also, we preview Vancouver, X, LP underscore podcast, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, as LP underscore podcast, Loud and Proud Orlando, also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thank you for your support. Up next is the Pride Pod, so stay tuned. Anything else you want to add, John, before we go?
No, just thank you to everybody who's here in the comments. Thank you to everybody who's been watching all year and like supporting us and being here with us. And we got 2 more regular season games left, and then it's the playoffs. I feel like it was just yesterday, Luis, when we were talking about that first 4-2 loss of the season against Philadelphia, and then here we are. Right? Doesn't look so bad now, does it? Well, they got the supporters shield, but I just think it's been a great year. Let's see how the boys end it. And thank you to everybody who's been here supporting us and dropping comments. We appreciate you guys.
So this year, which is our season, I believe is a third season
Yep.
or season 2. Let me just double check. I'll tell you right now how many episodes we've done until this loads here. We have, hold on 1 second. Okay, here you go. So we are on season number 3. This is going to be the 43rd episode of Loud and Proud Orlando. We're getting close to 50 episodes, so we're probably going to continue because I know we got to have faith Orlando's going to go far in the playoffs, guys.
Gotta have faith.
So you got to
And
have
even if
faith,
they
man.
don't go
You
far
know?
in the playoffs, then we'll be back to talk about what we want to do
Yeah,
next year.
exactly.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna start.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
and
off
and
season
and
for
then
us,
the
we
free.
might have a week or so off here or there, but most of the time
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
be here every week in the off season too.
Obviously the holidays. There'll be
Yeah,
pre-recorded videos. I'm
but
sure there'll be
we don't
interviews,
really
but
stop when
more
the
than
off season
likely,
comes.
yeah, we never stop. So, but we definitely appreciate you guys for your support. Make sure you check us out again, Loud and Proud Orlando on all social media outlets. And again, guys, we'll see you guys next week. Vamos Orlando.
Vamos
Have a good one, guys.
Orlando.